Want to take a day trip to the famous coastal city town of Pisa? Here's everything you need to know about visiting Pisa and the famous Leaning Tower of Pisa complex. Now this is actually a walled area and it's called Piazza dei Miracoli, literally Miracle Square. Now this complex includes the cathedral, the baptistery, the Camposanto and the famous Leaning Bell Tower. Are you ready to go explore? Andiamo! Now first and foremost, Pisa is a city and a commune in Tuscany or Toscana, which straddles the Arno River just before it empties into the Ligurian Sea. Now while Pisa is famous worldwide for its Leaning Tower, the city contains more than 20 other historic churches, several medieval palaces and bridges that cross the Arno, not to mention museums, markets and restaurants that should be explored and enjoyed during your time here. Pisa is also home to the University of Pisa, which has a history going back to the 12th century. The Scuola Normale Superiore di Pisa was founded by Napoleon in 1810. Much of the city's architecture was financed from its history as one of the Italian maritime republics, which in Italian is Repubbliche Marinare, also called merchant republics, Repubbliche Mercantili. Now these were Thessalocratic city-states of the Mediterranean basin during the Middle Ages. Other well-known republics that you would know are Venice, Genoa and Amalfi. The most believed hypothesis is that the origin of the name Pisa comes from the Etruscans, the ancient civilization who lived here, and means mouth because Pisa is located at the mouth of the Arno River. Getting to Pisa from Florence and other Italian cities is a breeze. I recommend starting your day early and arriving by 8 AM to avoid crowds and to enjoy the city and the Piazza dei Miracoli complex without all the busloads of tourists who arrive from 10 AM onwards. The easiest way is to hop on a train and take in the views along the way. Pisa has two main stations to choose from. The main one is Pisa Centrale, which is where most trains arrive. From here it's just a leisurely 20-minute walk to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but there's lots of things to see along the way. The other station, Pisa San Rossore, is a 5-minute walk to Piazza dei Miracoli, but remember that not all trains stop here. There are also a few direct connections from Florence to Pisa San Rossore in the morning and afternoon that might do the trick. If you're coming from Santa Maria Novella station in Florence, the platform is located at the far end of the station, so allow plenty of time to get there. It's about a 5-minute brisk walk from the main entrance hall. If you have a paper ticket, be sure to validate it at the machines. Otherwise, if you book online at the Trenitalia website, you're good to go. Once on the train, enjoy the direct ride to Pisa Centrale. The journey can take as little as 67 minutes from Florence. Once you reach Pisa Centrale, follow the signs to exit at Piazza della Stazione. Your first stop on this Florence to Pisa day trip itinerary is to stop at Sant'Antonio Abate Church to see Keith Haring's mural. Called Tuttomondo, it covers the external wall of the church. This impressive artwork is one of the few pieces by the renowned American artist that can be admired in Italy, and it also happens to be his final masterpiece, completed just a few months before his death. This mural came to life through a chance encounter between the artist and a Pisan student on a holiday in New York. The two struck up a friendship, and the Italian convinced the artist to come to Italy to create a work outdoors that would be accessible to everyone. The mural, considered Haring's artistic testament, expresses his vision of life as a puzzle of colourful figures, each expressing a unique aspect of a peaceful world. Next, walk up Via Francesco Crispi to Ponte Solferino to see your first glimpse of this beautiful city and the continuation of the Arno River. This is also a good viewpoint from which to see Santa Maria della Spina Church. This tiny yet eye-catching Pisan Gothic-style church has earned a reputation as one of the most beautiful churches in Pisa. It owes its name to the relic of a thorn, spina in Italian, from Christ's crown, which was once kept within its walls, but has now been located to the church of Santa Chiara. Admire the view of the Arno and spot the Guelph Tower, where at the beginning of the 13th century, the Pisan Republic brought together extensive shipbuilding activities in a single space here. Cross the bridge and turn right, follow the signs to Torre Pendente, walk along the river towards Piazza Garibaldi. If you need a pick-me-up, head into the cafe here, or simply walk up Via Notari to Piazza delle Vettovaglie. This small square dates back to the 16th century, at a time when Pisa was under the control of Florence and the Medici family was revolutionising the city's urban design. During the day, this square is filled with colourful stalls selling fresh produce. But as the sun sets, it transforms into a lively hangout spot with cozy bars and eateries sprawling into the open space. If you have time, I recommend coming back here in the late afternoon for an aperitivo. Next, make your way to Borgo Stretto. This is one of the main thoroughfares in the city. Then turn left on Via Ulisse Dini and continue straight to Piazza dei Cavalieri. Piazza dei Cavalieri, or Knights Square, is a charming public square that's witnessed some significant events in the city's history, including the end of Pisa's independence in 1406. In the Renaissance era, the square got a magnificent makeover thanks to Cosimo I de' Medici, the Grand Duke of Tuscany, who tasked Giorgio Vasari to renovate the square in the fashion of the time. That's also when the Grand Duke named it after the Order of the Knights of St. Stephen, which he founded to protect the Tuscan and Mediterranean coasts from pirate and Turkish fleets. The square's centerpiece is the magnificent Palazzo dei Cavalieri, a 16th century masterpiece that serves as the seat of the prestigious Normale di Pisa University, founded by none other than Napoleon Bonaparte. Its facade is truly a sight to behold, thanks to the masterful work of artist Vasari, who embellished it with allegorical figures, zodiac signs, and the busts of the Grand Dukes of Tuscany. Another gem is Palazzo dell'Orologio, which once served as the government's headquarters during the medieval era. Its walls bear witness to a heart-wrenching tale that has been immortalized in Dante's Divine Comedy. It recounts the story of Count Ugolino della Gherardesca, a traitor to the city who was starved to death along with his sons and grandchildren within the walls of this palace. Pass under the Palazzo on Via Dalmazia, turn right along Via della Faggiola, then turn left on Via Capponi. At the end of the road, you'll be greeted with your first glimpse of the almighty Leaning Tower of Pisa, located in Piazza dei Miracoli. Piazza dei Miracoli is a true artistic and architectural masterpiece that's been recognised as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987, cementing its place as a wonder of the world. While its location outside the city centre may seem odd for what's considered to be the heart of Pisa, it's important to note that the city was once a major maritime power, rivaling the likes of Venice. So by placing its religious centre outside the protective walls, it showed it feared no threat. Or perhaps the sheer grandeur of these monuments simply required more space than the walls could contain. The piazza covers an impressive 22 acres, and its magnificent buildings, constructed between the 11th and 14th centuries, are intricately linked, showcasing a continuous dialogue between heaven and earth. Notably, the piazza's three most important structures, the Baptistery, the Cathedral, and the Camposanto, embody the distinct stages of life: birth, life, and death, respectively. Tickets to the sites in Campo dei Miracoli can be purchased online up to 20 days in advance. There are tickets for single sites or combo tickets that grant access to all the monuments and museums in the square, except for climbing the tower. If you wish to climb the tower as well, this is part of a different combo ticket. The first building to appear in Piazza dei Miracoli was the cathedral, which symbolises the city's civil and religious power. Established in 1064, it was erected to celebrate the Pisan victory against the Muslims in Palermo the previous year. The city aimed to construct a stunning cathedral that would rival the major religious constructions of the time, and they certainly succeeded, creating a magnificent masterpiece that perfectly embodied the peak of the Pisan Maritime Republic's power. But the true beauty lies within the 5 nave interiors, where you will find granite columns from Elba Island, Tuscany's biggest island and Italy's 3rd largest, along with a wooden ceiling with gilded coffers and exquisite artworks, including a mosaic piece by Ciambue. The cathedral also serves as the final resting place of San Ranieri, the city's patron saint. Entrance to the cathedral is complimentary if you purchase any ticket to other monuments, and there are no specific time restrictions. However, if you only wish to visit the cathedral, there are a limited number of free passes available, but they can only be obtained at the ticket offices right behind the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Right across from the cathedral is the Baptistery of San Giovanni. With a circumference measuring 100 metres and a towering height of 55 metres, it holds the title of Italy's largest baptistery. Constructed in the 12th century as an addition to the city's impressive cathedral, some of the greatest artists of all time have worked on it. Among them are Nicola and Giovanni Pisano, a father and son duo whose names are etched in the annals of art history as the revolutionary sculptors who paved the way for the Renaissance in sculpture. The Leaning Tower is undoubtedly the star attraction of Pisa. Completely made of gleaming white marble, this magnificent structure is an authentic Italian icon. But don't just stop and take cheesy photos. Take the time to learn about its fascinating history and appreciate the ingenuity behind this architectural wonder. While the architect's name may remain unknown, one thing is certain: this tower was meant to be a vertical bell tower like any other. However, its distinctive tilt makes it stand out from the rest. The cause of this tilt can be attributed to the weak and shifting soil beneath it. Even during its construction, this bell tower began to show signs of structural failure, causing it to worsen over time. In 1990, the Leaning Tower was closed to the public to stabilise it. After much effort, it finally reopened to the public in 2001, and today you can climb up the tower's spiral staircase and enjoy breathtaking views of Pisa and its surroundings. Legend has it that Galileo Galilei, the renowned Pisan scientist, conducted his experiments on gravity from the top of the tower to test the relationship between mass and speed. While there's no concrete evidence to support this tale, it's still thrilling to imagine one of the world's most brilliant minds tinkering with physics from up here. Enjoy the special and weird sensation of what it feels like to fall into the wall of this leaning tower as you try to navigate the stairs to the top. Once at the top, notice how on one side the platform has 6 steps, while only 4 on the other. This was to help level out the terrace. Take your time as you explore the 360-degree views of the city before heading back downstairs. Once you reach ground floor, don't forget to look up through the hollow shaft to see the Leaning Tower from a unique perspective. The visit typically lasts 30 minutes. Tickets cost €20 and are only valid for a specified time and date of purchase. It's best to book them well in advance, up to 20 days out, due to high demand. For safety reasons, children under 8 cannot enter, and those under 18 must be accompanied by an adult. Additionally, all handbags, backpacks, and luggage must be left in the cloakroom before the visit. Admission is free for disabled visitors, accompanied by an adult carer. Founded in 1277, the Camposanto was built to provide a final resting place for the graves scattered around the nearby cathedral. Famous individuals buried here include the mathematician Fibonacci, yes, that Fibonacci, who created the famous sequence featured in the Da Vinci Code. But Pisa's Camposanto is not just a simple burial ground. Its corridors are the repository of great works of art, including sculptures, Roman sarcophagi, and beautiful frescoes depicting the themes of life and death, created by the talented Florentine artists Buonamico Buffalmacco and Francesco Traini. Legend has it that the Camposanto was built on sacred soil, brought all the way from the Holy Land during the Crusades. Whether or not this is true, there's no denying the sense of history and reverence surrounding this unique site. This Sinopie Museum is a hidden treasure not to be missed when visiting the Campo dei Miracoli complex. It showcases a collection of sinopie, the preparatory drawings that are traced on the first layer of plaster and represent the first steps in creating a fresco. The name comes from sinope, the red pigment mixed with water that's applied by brush. The museum is located inside the Spedale Nuovo, a historic pilgrimage hospital dating back to the 13th century. When bombs rained down on the Camposanto, a devastating fire swept through the area, threatening to destroy the priceless frescoes that adorned its walls. To save them, the frescoes were removed from the walls and mounted onto panels. But during this delicate process, the preparatory sketches were revealed, offering a glimpse into the creative process of the artists who had created these masterpieces centuries ago. Nestled within the walls of a stunning 15th century convent, the Opera del Duomo Museum in Pisa is a must-see for art and history enthusiasts alike. It showcases a fascinating collection of 380 unique works of art and decorative elements, all sourced from the cathedral's treasury and the stunning buildings in Campo dei Miracoli. There's also a lovely cloister that's a real oasis of tranquility. For a truly magical experience, head to the top floor for a cup of coffee or, like I did, for some pancakes at the Panoramic Cafe while taking in the unparalleled view of the iconic Tower of Pisa and Campo dei Miracoli. If you want to climb the Tower of Pisa, I recommend aiming for an afternoon slot around sunset. Saving the climb to the top of the tower for the afternoon, at this point I would head back towards the city centre along Via Cardinale Pietro Maffi to see the Baths of Nero. Pisa had a significant Roman presence and was home to several remarkable structures, including a monumental forum, temples and an amphitheatre. Sadly, today only this thermal complex remains visible. This site was excavated in the second half of the 19th century and is one of the few remaining remnants of this city's Roman past. From here, head to Piazza Martiri della Libertà and explore this square before wandering down any street that pulls your interest. Then make your way to Pizzeria Il Montino for lunch. Il Montino is a delightful pizzeria in a labyrinth of alleys near Piazza dei Cavalieri. It's been satisfying the cravings of locals for over a century and has earned many awards for its exceptional food. While they offer a daily menu of local specialities, they're best known for their cecina, the region's famous chickpea flatbread, and pizza. Though be warned, they're far from your standard thick and crispy and loaded with cheese kind. One of the most popular is pizza pisana, topped with zesty tomato, salty capers, anchovies and parmesan, promising an explosion of flavour. Open every day except Sundays, they serve lunch from 12:30 to 3:30 and dinner from 7 till 10:30. After lunch, save some space for dessert at the city's oldest gelateria. La Bottega del Gelato has been serving artisanal gelato since 1979. The gelato is renowned for being completely handmade, using high-quality ingredients such as Sicilian lemons, Cantiano cherries, and Sorrento walnuts. If your climb up the Leaning Tower is in the afternoon, head back to Miracle Square, leave your bags in the cloakroom, and join the queue for the tower. As the end of your Florence to Pisa day trip approaches, head back to any of your favourite spots, or consider taking a stroll along Pisa's ancient city walls. At a towering height of 11 metres, the walkway of Pisa's ancient walls offers a unique perspective to take in the city sights. These walls are not only among Italy's oldest, but also some of the best preserved medieval walls in all of Europe. After years of restoration, you can now take a leisurely walk along the trail of the walls and immerse yourself in the panoramic view of the city. Located on the river is Palazzo Blu. Dating back to the 14th century, what sets it apart is its stunning facade, painted in a striking shade of blue, which was added in the 18th century, possibly to cater to the preferences of the guests from St. Petersburg who were staying here. The palace boasts a permanent collection of paintings from the 14th to the 18th century, plus a photographic archive documenting life in Pisa during the second half of the 20th century. If you're staying for dinner, then head to Osteria dei Cavalieri, one of the best restaurants in Pisa, for savouring some delicious local cuisine before ending your trip. Before you visit Italy, make sure you brush up on your Italian skills with my travel-focused online video courses that use my unique 80-20 method. You'll be able to interact with the locals and avoid being treated like a tourist. For more details, visit intrepiditalian.com or click on the link in the description below this video. Enjoyed this guide? Got a question? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you watch my guide on the best things to do in Florence. A presto e buon viaggio! Ciao for now!